Hello, everyone. So we are gonna do some sort of a review for AMC 8 that is coming. So I'll just do the only number 22s and then I'll try to do more as we go. But before you try to see the solution I have, so make sure you attempt each question on your own and see if you actually can. And then I'll just add the more practice problems or solutions and stuff in the description so you can take a look at those when you need. Okay. So anyway, so the first problem says the at a party there are only single women and married men with their wives. The probability, okay, so we are told, okay, that when randomly chosen a woman is single is 2/5. So make sure you really understand that 2/5 is the probability of choosing a woman that is single. So like that means like if you have like a 2x single woman, right? So I will just say single woman. That means 3x should be a married woman. So that is something we are given. And we know that the married woman is not just themselves, they have also their like husbands. So which means we have 3x like husband, I will say. Right? So then we want to find what fraction of the people in the room are married men. So we have 3x in total. That's our desired outcome. And the total outcome, which is the total number of people, is everything that we have so far. So 2x and 3x and 3x. So that should be 3x over 8x, which is 3/8. And that is choice B. So the first question, even though you know number 22, it wasn't too challenging. You have to be careful with your numbers. So that was the first one. Okay, so here's the second one. So we have a company that sells some detergent in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. And we are told medium size costs 50% more than the smaller size and contains 20% less detergent than the larger size. Okay, so we have a lot of percent stuff, right? So let's kind of make a bit organize our work. So I'll just say maybe the small, medium, and large, these are my sizes, right? And I'll just say that this is cost and maybe contain for each size. And the medium size costs 50% more than the small size. So the mediums, like, let's be aware of that. So medium costs 50% more than the small one. So if I say small one costs like something, then 50% more should be the medium size cost. So then I'll just choose, let's say this is 2x, right? That's the cost. 50% will be 1x, which means that should give us 3x for the medium size cost. But it says contains 20% less detergent. So that's the amount, right? So 20% less, like the medium size contains 20% less detergent than the larger size. So 20% is like 1/5. So if I just say maybe this is gonna be like 5, because 1/5 is kind of a big number to work with. So I'll just say this is gonna be 4y, and that should be 5y, because 20% less detergent compared to larger one. So larger one has 5y, 20% will be 1y. So that will be 1 lesser than 5 will be 4y. So I will ignore those x and y's, but if you want to make it in general, so these numbers might be the one. The large size contains twice as much detergent as the smaller one. So large size contains twice as much as the smaller one. So the contain is the twice as much. So which means my small size should have half of 5y, which is 2.5y, right? And costs 30% more than the medium one. Okay, let's remember again. The statement says the large size costs 30% more than the medium size. Okay, so medium size costs 3x. So if you take the 30% of 3, which is going to be 0.9, so 3.9 should be the larger size in terms of cost. So then I'll just write 3.9x. So just be aware. So the cost, the larger size costs 30% more than the medium size. Medium costs 3x if you take the 30%. So you will get 9x over 10, which is 0.9x. I just did it in my head. So that's how you got 0.9. And that will be 30% more, which is 3x plus that number, 3.9. So as soon as we have this, we actually can easily ignore these x and y's. We could have done this at the beginning as well, but at the end, because we are just going to find the unit prices. And these are the numbers I chose. Then you can just choose something else, but these are the numbers I have. For the unit price, to determine which one is the best, so I'll go with price. So just divide the cost by the total amount, like 2 over 2.5. So like you can just say that's 20 over 25 divided by 5. That will be 4 over 5. Just keep this in mind. And the next one is 3 over 4. And the next one is 3.9 over 5. So you can double like these numbers. That will be 7.8 over 10 because that's easy to divide by 10. So 0.78. So this is the unit price. And then this is going to be 0.75. That's the unit price. And this is 0.8. That's the unit price. So among these, we want to see which one is the best to get, right? So the best one is the one that we have like less per unit, right? So among these, that looks like the 0.75 is the smallest one. So which is just the medium one. So that is going to be one of these two. And the second smaller number is this one, which is the large size. So that is the choice actually E. And that is our answer. So again, I chose the numbers for one of these and then find the other one in terms of that number I chose. You can just change these numbers and then I just start with the X and Y's, but you can ignore those as well because at the end we just need to compare things. So that was our answer. So let's see the next one. Number 3. So we have 3 different one-digit positive integers, right? And place in the bottom row of the cell, and then the number in adjacent cells are added to get the number in the above cell. So which means if you add the number right here and add these two, so you get this number. And then you add this number to this number, so you get this number. And then at the end, these two numbers added to get the top number. So our goal is to find the difference between the largest and the smallest number possible in the top cell. So like you can try some numbers, kind of test it. So I'm gonna do a little bit differently. I'm gonna start with ABCs. Let's say these are my numbers. This number should be like B plus, okay, so B plus A or A plus B, and then it's gonna be B plus C. And if you add those two numbers, the top number should be A plus 2B plus C. And that is what we are trying to like maximize or minimize. So, you know, A and C, just the digit number. So at the end, we are looking for 3 different one-digit like positive integers. So 1 through 9. And A and C, just their val and added, right? But for the B, you double that number. So if you want to make this larger, like sum, then B has to be 9, right? So that means A plus C could be anything. So I can just say A as, let's say 8. And then you got like 2 times 9. And then C should be 7 then, because they have to be different. So then that will be 8 plus 18 plus 7, which is 33. So that is the largest number we can get. So we have 35, which doesn't like work because maybe if you choose all like 9s, that should be like 4 9s, 36. And you can assume 1 is possible to the smallest. That's maybe the reason they have choices, but that is not possible. So if I want to make this smaller, then b has to be 1, since that's the smallest integer I can choose. And a could be 2, let's say, and then c could be 3, so that will be just 7. So the smallest number is 7, the largest is 33, and the difference is 26. So that was not too challenging, but easier to miss as well. Okay, so that was number 3. Okay, so here's the number 4. So we have a lemming sits at a corner of the square with a side length of 10. The lemming runs 6.2 meters along a diagonal towards the opposite corner, and it stops, makes a right turn with 9 degrees, and runs 2 more meters. And the scientist measures the shortest distance between the lemming and each side of the square. What is the average of these 4 distances in meters? Okay, so when you read the question, like, it's challenging, so it's hard to understand what's going on. So to make this a bit visual, let's kind of start with, doesn't look good, a square. Okay, so it's not a square, but anyway. So we start with the, let's say, this diagonal. And if I start with this corner, so let's say this is L, and we know this is 10 and this is 10. And the hypothesis by Pythagorean 10 root 2, or just use the 45, 45, 90 triangle. So you know x root 2. Again, this is one of the 2 special triangles we use a lot. So that's the 10 root 2. And if you go 6.2 meters along this diagonal, so let's say we go, I don't know, like this much, 6.2, and then make a 90 degrees right turn. So it depends on how you look at it. So it could be either direction, but let's say we're going this way. And we are now 2 meters now here. And the question is asking us to find the distance from that final location to the each side. So regardless of where you are actually, so just imagine the distance from where you are to the each segment, each side is like this. So if I draw this, that's my distance. But if I draw the other way around, so like whatever this distance and the other part, so add up to 10 actually, because that will be 10 minus x. So distance from this location to the 2 opposite side is 10. And same thing with the other 2 sides. So let's say this is y, and this is like 10 minus y, because that's parallel to the sides of the square. So which means the sum of those 2 is 10, the other 2 is 10, which is add up to 20. And we have 4 differences. So that means average is 5. But, you know, without really drawing this mesh figure, we could just say that this is the case regardless, right? So that is because regardless of where you are, you actually take the distance between that point to the 2 parallel sides. You always get that total distance will be the same as the sides of the square, because whatever distance is right here has to be same as this one. Okay, so then this is gonna be same as this one. So which is why regardless of where you are, so let's say you are here, so this distance plus this distance is gonna be 10, and then this distance from this distance is also 10. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that was the answer. So let's see the next one. So the next one is how many positive integer values of n, both n over 3 and 3n are whole numbers. So, okay, this is also like good one. So we have like n over 3, and 3n has to be a 3-digit like whole number. So which means 3n shouldn't be larger than 999. So which means n has to be smaller than 333. So let's keep this in mind. And similarly, n over 3, when you divide n by 3, so you should have something larger than or equal to 100, because that's the smallest 3-digit number. So if you multiply by 3, so it should be at least 300. So when you look at the 300 to 333, so it looks like we have 34 numbers, because that includes 300. But it is not the case, because we are just choosing the numbers that is multiple of 3's only, because n over 3 has to be like integer, has to be whole number. So n is a multiple of 3's. So our number is actually like 300, 303, 306, all the way to the 333. So you can see we are increasing numbers by 3. So if you start with 300 and you are adding 3 to get the next number, 3 add to next number, so you keep adding 3's. So meaning that if you want to find the number of terms, so you take the last number minus the first number and divide by the change, which is 3, which is going to be 11, which means we are adding the 3 11 times. We start with 300, so if you add 11 times, which means you're going to get 12 numbers in total. That is the choice. Okay, so that was number 5. So anyway, so that was the first 5 of the questions, 2022's. I mean, number 22's. So I hope that was clear. I'll add more in the description. I'll see you in the next video.